What up, what up? My hair's a fucking mess right now. I was like driving with the windows down on the highway and yeah, just let it fucking fly. But I'm back recording a little bit early today, but today I wanted to talk about a fucking realization I had. I was reading this article about attractiveness and the fact that hot girls actually have the hardest time dating. And nobody really realizes this because I think like the whole concept of pretty privilege and like our worship as a society of attractive people, we tend to assume that if you just are more attractive, that life is easier for you, especially dating, right? You have more options, more people are interested in you, and you're just hotter. Like, that's awesome. But I read this article and it made me realize that actually it's the other way around. The hottest people have the hardest time dating because they have the smallest dating pool. Because they have to select for other people who are just as hot as them. And as a result, the pool goes down from the normal size of just regular people to the hottest of the regular people. And not only that, but because you're sort of in this elevated position, you have this pickiness. And that makes it a lot harder to develop actual relationships. Because you stop seeing for people who they are and you start seeing them as a number on a scale or an income or some superficial trait that gets them in the door. And I realize this is a really crucial understanding that young men need to come to. Because a lot of guys, myself included, sort of start on a self-development journey. And one of the purposes of that, or one of the goals of that, is to become more attractive, to make more friends, to attract more women, to just level up and feel better about ourselves, right? But the problem is often this leveling up comes at the cost of our relationships. Because the more successful you become, gosh, I'm stumbling over my words today. The more successful you become, the smaller your dating pool gets. Because nobody wants to settle. Nobody wants to settle for something less than. But the fact of the matter is that most people are average. Most people are mediocre. If you look at a bell curve, most people are within 1 to 2 standard deviations. Like 70% of people are in this range. And 90% of people are within this range. And the little tail ends, the little corner where you want to be, that's 1%. Less than 1%. I think as young men, there's this illusion that if we make ourselves more attractive, if we make ourselves richer, wealthier, we looksmaxx or whatever the fuck, we develop ourselves to our highest potential, that somehow that will make the world open to us. Now we'll have all the options in the world and we'll get to have our pick. But now, once you're in this sort of higher category of successful people, however you define that, now you're competing with the top dogs for the most attractive, most interesting people in the other category. And it's an endless cycle of competition and more and not feeling good enough. And that really bleeds into your relationships because you get into a relationship and you start thinking, you know, what if I could do better? What if there's more for me out there? And you lose sight of the fact that all you really want is connection and respect. You get lost in these status games, these attractiveness games, trying to strive for some ideal in other people because you don't feel comfortable in yourself. And I say these things because this is how I've felt. This is how I feel. I very much feel stuck in this trap of needing to better myself, needing to optimize and maximize and become the best. And it's made me almost resentful of some of my friendships, some of my relationships, wishing that there could be more. It's a really toxic mindset to have. And I don't think all self-improvement leads to this. I still think that becoming the best version of yourself, becoming more authentic, pushing yourself to grow, challenging yourself, all these things are valuable and things I will continue doing. But you have to be wary of this belief that somehow becoming better, maxing your stats, leveling up, will make things easier for you. Especially with regards to dating and friendships. It makes things harder. I find it harder to relate to my high school friends who are living normal lives. They have regular 9-to-5s. They go out drinking on the weekends. Honestly, they seem pretty happy and content. And I have a hard time having fun with them because I feel like we're not being productive. I feel like there's more to life. And I'm at the point where I know I can enjoy. I'm still learning to relax and let go and have fun and be present. But over the past 8 years, over this journey of self-development, I've really developed this sense of insufficiency that drives me. And I'm just now learning to let go of that. I'm just now learning that that was an unintended side effect of trying to better myself. And I wish that when I started, I knew what the cost would be. Because a lot of these gurus, they sell you the dream, right? Max out your looks, max out your money, become high status, develop confidence and social skills. But once you get there, you realize that this whole time you've been driven by fear. This whole time you've been driven by a false hope that things would somehow get easier, that life would automatically be solved. It's bullshit. Life will never be solved. It might become more fun, it might become more expansive, you might have more opportunities. But life will never be solved. You will always have problems. And it's so crucial to be aware of that. Because if you're stuck in this fantasy land of thinking that everything will be easy when blank, fill that in with whatever goals or desires you have. If you truly think that the grass is somehow greener on the other side, you're going to be in for disappointment and depression and frustration and disillusionment. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. I know it's a bit earlier out. It's kind of nice, like, getting this video done while the sun's still out instead of waiting for fucking 12 a.m. to whip out my light and my camera and everything. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, if you learned anything, if you have any personal experiences to share, if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about in a future video. But yeah, it's kind of incoherent, but just something that's been on my mind and wanted to share. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.